So we join in. Welcome back to a 1 in 20 for a special episode. I hope you're all having a wonderful festive season. Um, we here, obviously, we've got beaching away at the moment, but we're all here. We're all gonna try out something new. Now, we're gonna have a go at Cyberpunk. Now, I have loved this system since the first time that learned how to play with my very first group when I was about 12, and I've been obsessed with it ever since. And with the resurgence of the game and the show, I have been waiting for an excuse to bust out this system. We're going to try and run a little a little Christmas one shot. Um,
Is that your character, Chris?
Why not?
Is that
Yeah.
what he looks like?
So this is Murphy. Murphy's my character.
Brilliant.
But yeah, we're going to give it a go. So we are using the Cyberpunk RED easy mode rules. For those that might not have played, they've chopped down some of the additional bits. We're using pre-made, pre-generated characters. And that is just because, he's got his own. Each of our players has never played Cyberpunk in any fashion. So
I feel like I need to run and get some kind of teddy bear now.
I was looking for my elf hat, but I must have thrown it somewhere and I've no idea where it is.
I'll be back. Keep talking.
So we were just discussing what sort of characters people might like, and I was going to give a little brief introduction of the rules. So Cyberpunk uses a D10 system, so that means rather than the D20 being your main dice, the D10 is your main dice. You will use others for damage and such, but pretty much everything is on your D10. You will always, with skills, and these handy-dandy skill sheets already have it added in for you, but any roll is a skill and a ability score. Nice. A skill and ability score that add together for a total bonus to your D10 roll. Okay, so if you and the guys now are just looking at some character sheets. I think Mum, you were gonna go for the Medtech.
Yeah. It's called Hamish.
The Medtech or the
Both. It's a coup.
So yes, have a quick look over. Obviously, if there's to be completely transparent, even though I have not played in a very long time, so we will be doing this sort of ad hoc. I have kind of put together something that is a little bit with the use of the Cyberpunk RED easy rules pre-made story, but obviously with a little bit of a Christmas theme. So
Kill Santa.
yeah. So Chris or Paul, have either of you decided? Now that they are just taking a quick look through the pre-generated characters to see which one suits them most. And one thing I will say, once you have chosen, take a quick look at their character's role ability. So the role ability is unique to each of the classes. And again, for the easy mode, they have been simplified. Within the actual stat rules, there is chance to level it up. There's skill trees within your own special skills, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So have you filled these in for us? A couple of these things.
So the ones that I've sent you have already had their backgroundy stuff filled in.
It was just the vulnerability that I was actually looking at because I can't seem to find any of the other ones.
On which one? Sorry.
Just where am I looking for a rollability?
It's in the bottom left of the main skills, the one with the picture of the character on it, bottom left.
The only thing I'm going to ask Liam is the PNG that I'm looking at. I'm struggling to read just a couple of bits. Can I ask you what they say if you've got the
Which one?
original? So it's the cyberware. I think it says tool hand, your fingers, something a screwdriver, something
Oh yeah.
small
So
drill,
I will send that
and
over
then
to.
pane editor chipware. I'm just
I'll
struggling
send.
to
I'll
read the
send that.
writing
I'll
inside
send
there.
that over to you.
Thank you. I'm also
Paul,
loving how it says clothing style is nomad leathers, but the picture looks more like cyborg.
Well, so again, there is combat gear, and then there's your personal style, right? And sometimes those marry in the two. But for example, one of them, and it's my favorite. It is my favorite style ever, and I can never fully imagine what it's going to be. But there is a clothing style option that is bag lady chic.
Oh, I should have done that.
and
Yeah.
and I like the different the possibilities. And yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, genuinely, when I was younger, I used to make characters and just bash out characters
That's
non-stop.
bag lady chic. I'm loving that.
And I fell in love with the character creation process within Cyberpunk. I like that it does a lot of the random stuff is focused in the background. So the ones that I've sent you, all of those background fill-ins have been randomly rolled. So if you've got a love or lost or somebody, a friend or an ally, that's all randomly generated.
Paul, are you choosing one of the
Yeah.
ones that he's given, or are you going?
Are you going Rockaboy?
No, I mean Rockaboy isn't an option on one of our things.
I mean, if you want to pick it, that is fine with me. Like genuinely, it just means you're gonna have to read it from the PDF.
Yeah.
So as long as you and I literally just have my Chris. I just have mine at the top of the PDF thing. You can just rotate.
I've already done it.
Yeah. So if you want to play Rockaboy, I'm fine with
I
that.
mean, I feel like just at a absolute the tiniest glance, it's cool, it's awesome, it's clearly me. The picture of the woman with say like pink kind of like fishnet thing is also the kind of stuff I'd wear. So
yeah, I've seen it.
And the hot pants.
We've been out with Chris.
Bit video proof of us dancing, say, in the gay bars and loving life.
Yeah. So obviously, so if we are, sorry, Paul, which one do you want to go? Are you going for one of the ones I sent, or one from the?
Yeah. Just trying to figure out via I like the look of Solo.
Solo to give you a little, because some of the words aren't exactly as obvious as Rockaboy. So a solo is basically the fighter. They are.
That's what I kind of That's what I liked about it.
Named as such because they can take fights alone. A lot of their enhancements are down to they just react quicker. They are usually up and pointing the gun at your face before you've even unholstered your own. It is a fun one to play.
Can we just start? I know, so we're going to go through this, but can we start by just explaining all the attributes and what they mean?
Yeah, very easily. So,
So obviously, I'm guessing ref is
some of them are exactly like what they say on the
intelligence, ref reflex, but then there's also a dex.
1 second. So I'm gonna get it from the.
And what's EMP? Because I seem to be good at that.
Empathy.
Ah, I'm not good at that.
That is so ironic.
I might be very empathic, bitch.
Tell me how I'm feeling.
Tell me when I care.
Right. So, int is intelligence. One of the more obvious ones. Ref is reflexes. Dex is dexterity. So now the difference between those is reflexes is literally response time. How quickly do you go for your gun? How quickly are you able to turn? Are you spotting and processing? All those things. Whereas dexterity is athletic ability. Are you able to do backflips? right? So you can be very dexterous and be able to do backflips and not be very good at like hand core reflex things. While the two generally marry up together, they are separated in this. Tech is your ability to manipulate tools, instruments, fix things. Be aware, obviously, in the futuristic world, a lot of nearly everything has something to do with tech. Cool is your ability to impress or influence people. Will is your determination, courage, and your ability to keep going in the face of adversity. Luck is literally what it says on the tin. So with luck, you have a number or a luck pool. When you roll any check, you can add a number of luck points to it that detracts from. You get luck back.
And you turn around.
Oh, that's lucky.
No, no. So you get it. It's all you get luck back. And to be fair, in a short term one shot, it's probably not going to happen as much. But basically, luck comes when you play into your flaws and things like that. So if your character's flaw is that they're a big hothead and you start a fight with the actual really dangerous guy because he said your mum's something, right? Like you're playing into it and putting yourself at risk to play that role play, then you are rewarded through those things. But that might not come up as much, obviously, in a one shot. Sorry, your mic's up or you are.
Sorry. So I was just reading. It says you have to do it before you roll.
Yes.
So it says you have to dedicate a portion of your luck before you roll, and then it refills at the beginning of the game session. So I suppose I've got 6. So I suppose I've got 6 looks for this session.
Yeah. Body is your raw strength and endurance, and empathy is your ability to relate and care for others.
Sorry, what was move?
Move is literally move speed. It's either, so if we are, it literally just translates as like, it's either 5 squares or it's
7 squares or 9 squares or whatever.
Or it's then if we're doing, theatre of the mind. To be fair, with theatre of the mind, it's a bit more loose and we are going to be there more. But yes, we'll explain a bit more combat as we get in.
So what's a good score? So is like
10 is good.
So 10 is the top.
Yeah.
10 is the most you could have.
Yeah,
so
and I don't think you
an
could
8,
start.
I don't
think you could start with a 10 either in character creation rules.
And death save is.
Yeah, I was about to say the death save is that your hit point counter based off.
So hit points, we will get. So death. Yeah, we'll get into that when we come to them, because so hit points you have the number on the left. So for example, I'm looking at Rockaboy. There's a 40 under Will.
That's on the right, but yeah.
It's on my left. And the seriously wounded number, that is the amount of damage. If you've taken that much damage, you are considered seriously wounded.
In one hit or just overall?
I believe overall, but I will check that as we go. Because this is the other thing. I am going to also be having to read some combat rules as we go. So, if we are all ready, let's start Christmas in the Red. A cold and miserable night through the gleaming, flickering neon signs of Night City. You find yourself down at a run-down bar called the Snowdrift. Eat a dive where even the holographic Christmas decorations look tired. A cracked neon Santa flickers by the door, and inside the hum of cheap ciderware mixes with the sharp scent of synth alcohol. For those new to the setting, most natural ingredients have basically gone from the world. It is very rare to ever eat real meat. It is all synthesized, all highly produced, and that is just the standard. Unless you are part of the rich. For those in the rich, as Night City during the holiday season, where the corrupt and the corporate elite, corrupt and indulgent, get to live in excess, while those on the streets below simmer with tension and unease. The glitzy corporate world hides sinister plots from the day-to-day tied behind the holiday cheer. For our players, we're going to just do a quick tie-in that you are already a working group. You've maybe done 3 or 4 jobs together. It is very often for runners to move, do different jobs, you do your own thing, you maybe pick up a thing, and obviously gathering those people that you might trust or at least not dislike has caused you to come with this group. You've heard from a fixer as you enter into the bar and start looking for the fixer named Frost. Patrons huddle in dim booths, nursing their drinks, while grainy vid streams holograms of the silent night loops in endlessly on cracked screens behind the bar. Can you all give me... I'm going to get one on my phone as well. It's faster. A perception. So it obviously on these character sheets it is done for you, so you're just using the actual total number. But for those that might be trying to learn, the players are going to roll a d10. They're going to add their
stats and the level.
Yeah, they're the cool. So the level is how many points they've put into the skill, and the stat is the stat that relates to it, and add that to the dice. So can you each?
So for like example, my perception, it says my stat, which is based off the cool, is 7, and my level is 8.
Yes.
So
So
that's adding...
are we adding the total to the D10, Liam?
Yes. So you're as a Paul would be adding a 15 in that situation.
I rolled a natural 1. Does that mean anything in this game?
Yes.
You just shot yourself in the foot.
Hardware.
Okay, so you roll in with criticals in this, and it's fun that we've got to it so soon. But if you roll a 1 or a 10, you re-roll the dice, and it continues in the direction that's relevant, right? So if you now roll a 10, you start on -10 and add whatever it is you're adding. -9. But also on the crit side, if you roll a 10, you roll the d10 and it keeps going, and you can roll successive 10s.
Okay, so I've rolled a 2, so I start on -2, right?
-1 because you were on a 1. You take two off.
-1. Okay, 6.
So for 16, and for so I think 40. As you walked in, and I am just going with your the names that are on the thing. Tell me if you want me to change them. Was the Chris?
Right.
Yeah, Chris. I did realise.
Where is the name?
It's at the
top left.
Top left. Handle. Handle is the name you give out to people. Because again, one of the things you will do as netrunners, as not netrunners, as runners, is you don't give your personal shit with your work shit. That is a fast way to get someone in your family killed, or to get your home bombed, or whatever else. So most runners operate through a handle.
Got ya.
But I think
I want to be called fishnets.
Fishnets. Okay, fishnets. As you enter, somebody just goes, "Hey man, is that fishnets?" And you just get swarmed by like 10 or 12 of like fans of yours. Are you a solo act or part of a group?
Part of a group.
Okay, so yeah, so and you don't have to go this way, but in a lot of cases it tends to be, especially when they're like famous and running, it does tend to be that they're like punk rock against the man, like, and then their running feeds into like people love you for being a runner because you're edgy and like against the bit, you know what I mean? And it's up to you if you want to play that. But
I am the most edgiest of people.
Have a little think about it, but you're swarmed by like a small group, 10 or 12 mix of ages that are already in here partying, keeping warm from the cold and the snow outside, and you're just pushed off to the side. What did you get, Paul?
I got with my thing 19.
Okay. So what was your Paul? What are you going for? Also, do you want to change it like Chris has done? Change your zooms to whatever you want to be called, whatever you want your handle to be.
Oh yeah.
I can then just refute. But for the other two, you see pretty quickly in the far corner, sat sort of huddled away from most of the light. You do spot Frost, a familiar face, dressed in black, her platinum hair catching a flicker of the momentary malfunctioning neon light as they notice you come in and raise a glass for you to come over.
I'll while Fishnets is getting all the attention, I'll give Frost a nod and then turn around to Redtail and Fishnets and be like, "Come on."
I'll just nod, follow you. Follow your lead.
Fishnets, what are you doing?
Party, party, party.
Okay, so interestingly, if you want to get a bit of a party going in here,
Yeah, go on, then. Why not?
so firstly, and this is again, it's sort of built in to allow us to check out each of the roles and stuff like that. So this will activate part of your role ability.
Ooh, okay, what am I doing?
So
Oh,
I
I get +2. Oh, no,
to any empathy or cool check if they are a fan.
Yeah.
So can you give me how are you doing it? Are you just doing it by chanting? You go for full persuasion?
No, I'm gonna, because my melee weapon is an axe because it's a guitar.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna just swing that round because it's a heavy melee, like. and I'm just gonna start playing because I believe I've got a built-in amp, pocket amp. So I'm just gonna start jamming on that, and then I'm just gonna pick up a glass and then just smash it over, say like, I don't know, a fan.
Okay, so drop me first I'll have a play instrument.
Oh fuck, that's even a thing.
Yeah, when I said it was
that. So we went from a 1. Now I've got a 10. So now
okay, so re-roll it and it adds on.
And that's a 9. So that's a 30.
Okay, so literally, as you guys are walking towards what is now becoming an even more secluded area of the bar, as people are starting to look, you hear like the initial, like the as the mic plugs in, and for you guys, you've been around him a little bit, you know he does this sort of shit, and then it's just and he sets off. People do start like going absolutely nuts. You would see 2 very cybered up burly bouncers stand up in the corner and start being like, "Calm down, you lot," and like, but the crowd are like, "What should we do? Should we rush him?" They're like looking to you for
Fuck the man!
Oh god, it's already gone too. Okay, so
forget the one shot. We're basically just in here.
I'm gonna flick over to you guys because you'll be as you're getting to the table. It's like one of those in the background where you're like sliding into a table, and in the background there's some cybered up dude with 3 guys on his arms, like, and I'm gonna I'll come back to Chris because it's gonna be up to you how that goes.
Saying that this isn't phasing me at all. Like, I'm used to it. The fight's going around me. It's actually better for me because people aren't going to be watching what we're doing, and I'm gonna sit up next to Frost and be like, "What's up, Jack?"
Jumbus, come sit down. I got a little gig for you. Medtech. They're throwing a Christmas bash over at Silver Plaza. Fancy type, But rumor is one of them's got something I need. Little Winter Wonder prototype. I've got a buyer that's real keen on it. Wondered if you might acquire it for me.
Do we know what this is likely to be? I mean, I'm assuming we're talking drugs, weapon, something.
So, give me. I don't give a quick look over general knowledge, or is there anything that's like?
I've got human
I've got-
perception.
I've got
No.
deduction.
Local expert. Local expert.
Yeah.
Yes, I've got that.
Give each of you give a local expert. That's your knowledge of your local area, right?
I don't think that worked. Hang on.
13.
Oh no, it did work. Okay. 16.
What did you? Oh yeah, you're not there. so-
Are we assuming so like in Cyberpunk? So obviously I've only played the game, but you tended to. It was all everyone's just doing shady deals of everything. That's like
It's
someone's robbing someone to rob somebody else, kind of thing.
a brief, basically a brief history is that at some point wars stripped us back to real strife and struggle. The only people that sort of survived that were major powerhouse companies. So literally, like if it was set in real life, like Apple would be one, right? Essentially they were so big and had so much money that they survived the apocalypse, and then they built mega cities. So within the cities, there aren't really police; there are peacekeepers, but peacekeepers keep the peace, right? And also there are then corporate security and corporate peacekeepers that will just shoot any threat on sight, and there is no repercussions or such other thing, especially if you were doing something illegal. And the more and more it grows, that money difference, right? This is capitalism on steroids. The rich are so rich they don't ever touch the ground, and the poorest are working 4 jobs just to pay for the life-saving surgery they need. Like it's that level of poverty and separate disparity between the two.
Yeah.
So with the roles, what you know of Medtech is that they do supply lots of different things, but they are mostly weapons. But they also do like drones, chip programmings. It's not just one thing. The most famous one that you so they also are private military contracting. So they tend to be like only sold to military and police forces. So
Okay.
likely to be something not friendly.
Okay, that's fine.
Robin Hood effectively was stealing from the rich and giving it to the damned.
Or to the more rich. Yeah. As long as I get paid.
Chumba, of course, Chumba. 10K for this job.
So
You get your eddies and you split them between you.
Well, what time frame we talking?
Well, party's tomorrow night.
Any chance of you getting us on the guest list?
Not likely. Private function. Chance you could talk your way in, maybe staff it. It's the plaza itself. You guys with the roles that you got know that the Silver Plaza. It's the bottom area is like rich mall, right? Like you're walking down the center and it's I can't think of any brands right now, my brain's Gucci's and Chanel's, and it is a very, very high class mall. You guys would know that, like, not on a normal day, security would look you guys up and down about if you weren't following somebody that you're protecting, right? Like, for you to be walking around even with guns in this area, you sort of have to look like you're the business of it. And there are corporate people walking around with guns, but they're licensed to be there. But what they say is there is an upstairs section. The mall shouldn't be too much of an issue. I can get you some clothes and disguises. Shouldn't be too hard for the main plaza, but the upstairs will have private security. When you go through towards the south entrance toilets, there is a door that is marked storage, which is apparently actually a staircase. That will take you into the upper area. From there, you would have to maybe convince or sneak your way in.
Have you got access to the guest list? So that we can see who's on there? Not to adults.
I can ask, but not at the minute. I don't get all the details. Word is some kind of new tech toy, testing it for mass production. It's apparently they've got it set up, wrapped up pretty like a present, to sort of disguised along with everything else. But from what I hear, it runs pretty hot.
Okay, so we could track that.
Yeah, and I don't know for each of you. So if you look at your cyberware, that is something that some cyberware have. I know for the solo, I think you have.
I think I was saying I have a tele-optic cyber eye, which might be
So
handy for that.
teleoptics is you zoom in.
Mm.
Is there any other like options on it?
So that I can see detail up to 800 meters away.
Mm-hmm.
And my eyes are better than human, giving me +2 perception and conceal reveal object skills.
Yeah. So you have image enhancing. So
Yeah.
Potentially, but it's something that you could potentially look at, but also potentially just feeling. That's how you determine it over any of the other, theoretically, or the other presents shouldn't be hot.
I've just had a look at my cyberware. Just a question, say, because one of these, I'm assuming there's a misspelling or something, because it says, so pane editor chipware. You can shut off your pane receptors, ignoring you to ignore the -2 all checks granted by the seriously wounded.
So basically,
I've got the same thing, Chris.
when you've taken 20 points of damage, you are considered seriously wounded, and you take a -2 to all checks, like literally everything. You can there at that point turn your pain editor on, and it shuts that off for a time.
Cool.
And you don't get, so it allows you to function better in that seriously wounded area.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have much more than that, but you up for it?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Call me when you've got it. I'll give you the meat for the transfer then.
You said something about disguises. Where can we pick them up?
I'll have them dropped off to you guys.
Okay, I'll start sliding out.
Okay. And anything more for a mover?
Is he going to slide out as well? Or is he going to stay there?
No, they look like they sort of lean back. I'll get to the chaos that's going. They look like they're looking at an amusement at the chaos that's happening in the background.
I'll kind of I'll go to slide out, and then I'll turn around, and then grab his hand and go, "There best be no funny business."
Do you want to give me a human perception?
Human perception, not dog perception.
9 plus 2, 14.
They raise an eyebrow. Me? Funny business? No, Chumba. No. They seem to be telling the truth.
I'll let go of squeezing his hand and go, "Talk soon," and then walk out. Well, walk to
yeah. So I'll flip back a
there.
little bit of a rewind. So fishnets on fuck the man, and then the a good half of the crowd, 6 members of the crowd, rush the bouncers. The first one you see is just immediately dropped by a cyber arm, just and he just to the floor as these are just people, and those bouncers are cybered. So like you see one dive up on him, and what I'm gonna ask for is for each of the players just to roll me a straight D10.
4.
1. So I roll again and
roll
take it
again.
off.
Yeah.
Oh,
-6.
Okay, so then
plus
okay,
6.
and Chris's was a
4.
okay. So you see, literally, the 2 bouncers stood up, and as these 6 rush, one of them sort of just takes a seat back and leans against the wall, as the other one drops the first one, cracks his knuckles, and sort of ripples. As you see, there's almost like a zzz whirring sound, and he just drops 3 of them in like a 3-punch combo as he just they all hit the deck immediately. The third on the -6 as he just nails a guy, and you see him fly up and over the bar, landing in a smash. As he sort of the one that's leaning back by the wall's like, "Oh, losing your edge, mate. 6 seconds. Took you that long to take out these posers." The rest of the crowd are like, they were gearing, and they're now like, "What do we do?" And they look like back to Frost, like, "What do we do?"
Who's Frost?
No, sorry, fishnets.
Just be like, "Woo! Now this is a party!" And then just gonna take a drink.
As the bouncer now sort of steps up a bit larger and moves over now towards fishnet and the groups, and is like, "It's time for you to leave, boys." The
At that point,
fans around
I'm,
you are like,
I'm,
yeah, of course. And they start like, one of them's like dragging his unconscious mate, like trying to like get him out of the bar.
I'm going to square up to him and go, "Don't worry, we're leaving." And then rush
Okay,
past
so
him.
give me, and I like this. I like it. So this is what is called face downs happen when 2 members that could impose violence on each other step up and almost battle of wills and contestings, right? So essentially, he is thinking that he's going to get to throw some people out while he does this, and you're stepping in to say, "No, we're going to walk out." And there's going to be a moment now to explain how it works. If how it all goes down, you roll. It's you're cool plus a d10 each of the participants in the face off.
Okay.
And this will be for the moment fishnets. It's between the bouncer and the solo, because unfortunately 2 solos going up, even with your skills, you don't stand a chance if you got in the middle of them.
No, that's cool. I mean, like literally, I'm not caring. If anything, I'm heading
snog
over
it away.
towards the bar.
Yeah.
In a tie, nothing happens. Otherwise, the loser can either back down, and he will then they will get to do whatever it was that they were going to do, or you take a -2 to any future interactions you have with this person until you've defeated them.
Okay. Is it okay? Is this classed anything with initiative at all?
Take his fucking head off.
No, what does your little thing say?
Well, my little thing says.
Roll a bit. No, unfortunately not. But obviously, again,
I was just double checking because
in the broader game, there is stuff in the trees that adds to these things. But yeah, so it's going to be a D10 plus your cool score.
I'm giving
And I'm going to do
But all the times I haven't given you it.
Red Tail's leaning against the bar like, oh, okay.
Do you want to reveal?
Yeah, go on.
14.
Okay. So as you're standing there, locked eyes, you're almost like or maybe almost opening the coat a little bit, just a shuffle. You see the sort of whirring up, and that was a tie. So you basically stood eye to eye, and after a moment, obviously, I imagine that Redtail sort of starts moving to leave. Fishnet's probably like, "Fuck this place," like, "I'm out of here." And you would see the other bouncer just sort of puts a hand on, and is just like, "No need for blood tonight, man. Come on." And it's sort of, so there's no negatives on either side, but
Seeing that, I'm going to sort of push myself up from the bar again and just go, Fishnets, come on.
Yeah. Place is like shut anyways. As I'm walking out, I will just probably like just mind sweep a couple of shots and just kind of knock them back.
yeah, if they're now unconscious.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
they're not needing it.
As you head out the doors and into the snow and the frosty air of Night City, is there anything anything that you would like to prepare? So obviously, in terms of items, it's unless obviously you can give me vague stuff and I can see if stuff fits. But is there anything you want to prep or and this is where again it sort of comes in with more the full game or a full campaign of it, where this is maybe where you do have contacts, and one of the random things that could come up is like maybe one of you went to school with someone who is now the receptionist for Medtech. And actually, when you were teenagers, you helped them out of a really, a tight situation, or you pay, and they owe you something now, and they might be able to be like, okay, here's the name of somebody on the guest list. That's where all.
I think that's why I was like, if we knew
That's
who was
why I
going
was
to the
like
party.
fishing for information, because I was like, if
Yeah.
I knew somebody, then I'd be fine.
Yeah.
But
That's
like-
why I said, do we have the guest list? Because actually, we could then look at that, see if we know anyone who's going.
So obviously, I can see the solo has rivals.
yeah, I have enemies.
I'd say the only person that might have contacts with the Silver Plaza more than the Militech would be Fishnets, potentially. Like you still have like a legit producer that books you gigs and stuff. And they are potential if you want to try and tap them for some.
I was thinking that, to be fair. I was thinking about, do they have a act playing? Because we could get all our stuff in the instrument cases.
Oh, I was thinking we could bump them and you could perform.
That also did cross my mind as well, but so
I mean, so if you want to throw out that, so essentially, so you all have, so in Cyberpunk phones are called agents.
I've got one in my head.
You've got an internal one,
Yeah.
always on the line. So you want to give producer what are they called? They are called Sammy. You flick up. Sammy's like, there's my favourite artist. How are you doing? Ready to perform? Ready to make some money?
Always. I've got I heard there's some show going on happening in Militech Plaza tomorrow night. Do you know you've got any like roots in that?
I mean, it's a bit fancy for you, isn't it? You can't be smashing shit up in there, man. Like, can't be like the last place.
It's fine, you can trust me. Say like I'm good for it. I hear there's some good options. There's some big names going there. If we can get ourselves like linked up, we can say like potentially put our band out there, get more money in.
I mean, I'll be honest, man. I could get maybe the Plaza, the Militech thing. They're not going to go for. They're corpo. They're big wigs, fancy. Piano playing shit. All that.
Who do they have? They just don't know what they want yet.
I will say, so he's like, drop me I think it's persuasion. It is persuasion. And you will know this as well, Chris. It's sort of like the same as like no matter how famous they ever got, a very posh upfront company was never going to hire Rage Against the Machine, right? Like there's certain
No, I get that.
demographics but you are pushing it, right? But like I'm just letting you know that you're pushing it.
Cool.
So I just had the vision in my head. You're on the phone.
Work in this, or
What? Sorry. Your producer, unfortunately, is not a fan. Otherwise, it would. He makes it. You're his cash cow.
Okay, that's a persuasion. Oh, it's 13, so that's 18.
Yeah. See what I can do, but look, I swear to God, you destroy a single thing in that place, and you got to do your next 2 gigs for free. Done.
Done. It's fine. That's all right, mate. Just set us up with the name and say like maybe we can talk to see him or something like that. I think say like you'll be well off with this. You'll make more money. Just you'll see it.
We'll see.
Just hang up.
Yeah.
Is it worth us trying to go and scope out the place tonight?
We
I mean,
could.
he talked about this south entrance and the toilets and the storage cupboard. Is it worth us just going and checking that out?
We could scout that out, because if we're going to be roadies to fishnets, then we can just ask for a costume that's corpo enough to be a roadie.
Yeah.
But for now, we can just be in our streets.
Just so it's not the first time we've seen it, right? Tomorrow. Let's maybe head over there and have a look.
Okay. So at the minute, as it stands, so none of you drive. You can get a Delaware taxi. So for those from the city, Delaware taxis are AI run and driven. And so you get in, and then Mr. Delaware pops up, and you can speak to the AI hologram, and he takes you to where you want to go. Or you can make your way on foot. You all know the city well enough, and then you would be able to approach from how you could also get a taxi closer. It's all up to you.
I was going to say, how far is it? Is it worth getting a taxi halfway there and then the rest
You're a
of the
little
way?
bit out. You're a little bit out of the central area, and just to give you an idea of the city, there are different areas of the city that isn't like the center is posh and rich and the outside isn't. There are whole areas of the sections that are known as combat zones that literally and that's where where you are now, right? So that brawl that just happened, no police are going to turn up for that. The fact that you guys are toting guns, nobody's going to stop you. There are also, however, green zones where the corporations are, and you might get stopped if you're just walking around with big rifles slung around your hips and stuff. Obviously, you are currently on the edge of a combat zone. You may be a 30-minute walk from the edge of the green zone, and that's where you're going to have to think about what you do with your weapons and such. And then the Silver Plaza itself is maybe another 20 minutes into the green zone.
What time of night is it? And is it going to look weird if we're walking through the green zone at this time of night?
You would think so. And I'm thinking on that, taxi is probably the better option, as in you can almost get out somewhere that is quiet.
We can look like we're going, yeah.
Right, and then
I'm
just
wondering
get out.
if there's 3 people walking through a really posh area in the middle of the night, is that going to look odd in itself?
I mean, it's not. It's maybe 11, 12, but yeah, it true. But also, you might get stopped because you're known anti-establishment, and corpo police don't have to follow normal rules.
Bitch, please.
You would all know, but especially fishnets, who maybe looks up to it, maybe doesn't. But Johnny Silverhand, the famous musician that dropped an atomic bomb on the Arasaka Tower to take down the corporations, and the large area of the city that still smokes acid rain and all those fun nuclear things.
I mean, I vote taxi part way, guys.
Yeah, makes sense.
Sure.
Okay. You begin to make your way through the city, and as you're making your way away from the combat zone and towards the green zones. You start to notice the more built-up buildings, the tower blocks. Whereas there are tall buildings and tower blocks in the other zones, but they look run down and old. Whereas these are glass towers, and as you get closer and closer to the center of the area, you sort of turn a corner, and if you imagine this is like in the same way as you can't miss the Trafford Centre, or like any of those places where the land has been cleared for that purpose, you like round a corner, and immediately in front of you, the Silver Plaza looms ahead like a monument to corporate greed towering above the surrounding buildings. Its sleek chrome exterior reflecting the glistening snow. Neon billboards flicker and buzz, each competing for the attention of massive holographic displays that dance across the buildings. Ads for the latest high-tech gadgets, overpriced holidays, even microwave meals popping up and shouting out. One thing that maybe people that are from the city are used to, but those that might not be, is ads react to you. So as you walk past the thing or move past the thing, it jumps out and, hey, you look hungry. They talk to you. They're trying to even more envelop you into the corporate cycle. You can see that tonight the plaza is beginning to have the setup for the holiday cheer decorations. You can see they've got like forklift style or crane sort of things that are taking up. You can see they're pulling light and bunting, and currently the outside has a few people working around it. All seem to be wearing construction style uniforms. The plaza itself still looks open. Although you would know it would be shutting soon, if not like right now. But the work outside seems to have just begun as the first sort of lights and banners are being pulled up and around the chrome exterior.
Is there any is there any scaffolding? Is there any kind of, as they're putting all this stuff up?
There's some towards the bottom, but you can see it's more like it's hooking in or magnetizing
Yeah.
to the actual chrome exterior as they're just sort of pulling it up. It's almost like like a window cleaner style thing. It's like you go up the building and then they're like fixing it, and then it moves them around the side of the building, and it seems all. But there are maybe, as you sort of looking it over, maybe like 10 workers. There's 6 on the ground sort of operating the large piece of machinery that's doing the lifting, and then another 2 up on the.
I would say really quietly, I mean, is a worker disguise an option? They're all over the building.
As it pulls up, the Delaware head pops up. You have made it to your destination. Have a wonderful night. The doors open.
Okay.
The risk, I'd be like, could be. Depends how we want to tackle it. And I'll just take my cigarette out, stub it in the car, walk out.
Okay, as you begin to get out, a large, massive digital Santa slays across the window sides in front of you. Merry Christmas, Choombas! Shop till you drop, ho 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 ho! As it flies off and out around the building, and you can see it making its way around. As you're getting out and taking a little look, especially Mover, as you take a quick glance around, you would notice, not taking particular notice of you, but you would notice a security drone hovering just below one of the neon signs as their red eye scans the area around. It seems to be watching the workers.
Kind of point at it and be like, that could be an issue.
Maybe not.
You see a few corporate elites dressed in expensive coats and laden with shopping bags start leaving the last remnants of shoppers exiting out of the plaza. And above the sign, you can see the massive sign says Silver Plaza, where holiday dreams come true. As you can see them, somebody programming the now new electric sign that they're placing in for the following day.
Can we try head round to the south entrance, wherever that is? Or is it quicker to go through?
You can do as you would see, they definitely are closing up as the people are streaming out. You would be able to very easily make your way around, and it is literally there is a west entrance and a south entrance. If you imagine the building is almost L-shaped, but like almost long with a shorter stub of an L, like a lowercase L maybe. The south exit is on the tip of the L.
Okay.
And then the west exit is on the end of the furthest end away from that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
South is the short end, and the
Yeah. And again, it's very similar set out as you're expecting. There's 2 large car parks. You're very easily able to sort of walk around the path around the edge and sort of see from a distance.
Can I be scanning as we go around just to see if there are any other kind of like staff exits, any kind of, fire exits, or anything like that as we're doing that?
Can anyone check to see if what the security, where the security hub is? Can we see where things are connected to? If we can
I've got
deactivate or hack
security
that?
tech, Liam. I've got a electronic security tech skill.
Okay, so give me a perception first of all.
So I was just seeing if we can hack something.
Oh, 24 perception.
Okay.
That was a 10 actually, Liam. So should I roll that again?
You should roll that again.
Sorry. So that's another 4, so that's 28.
Okay, so as you're looking around, first of all, you're looking around the outside of the building and you don't think there's any exterior ports. So one thing to note about this, and this is one of the things that is kind of different in Cyberpunk the game, but they've sort of kept it, but it's slightly different, is there is a distance limitation for hacking. It's not like you can't just hack across the Wi-Fi. Generally, in most cases, you have to plug into something within that system. Now, again, once plugged in, you can leave a back door, and then that sets you up a way in for later. But if as you're sort of looking, you know that you would have to get inside and plug into a security terminal in the building. That would maybe give some access for that. However, with the incredible role, as you're coming around that side, and you're literally coming around now the east side of the building, you're like almost fully looping it. If you imagine there's like road, big roundabouts that sort of lead the people to the different car parks, you're sort of just following that around. And there's a van, just one singular van, parked out in the third car park. That's like just there. And at first it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But also, as you're looking, it screams like maybe like a security station or something like that. And as you get a little closer, it's not currently running, but it looks like they've like put the vehicle in place for tomorrow's event potentially. So that gives you the clue. You think there'll be more drones tomorrow than just the one. You don't think that's whoever's controlling that drone because it's not. It doesn't look like it's currently doing.
It's too far away.
But you have done a job before where you saw one of these, and it was sort of set up with a set of 4 or 5 drones that were able to maneuver around it. But you also know that would be a plugins. That is a hack spot for the.
Okay, I would like bump, mover, and nod in that direction. That looks interesting.
And what I will say, so to give it a quick overview, and again, Easy Rules have boiled it down a little bit. There isn't really net running like there is. It's just a role here. But the net running and hacking, you can hack it if you're not a net runner. It just takes you longer. So if you imagine any real world hacker that has to get on the computer and type a bunch of shit, that is a normal person who can hack. A netrunner uploads themselves into the computer and runs around its internal systems as an AI, right? There's like or as a astral projection almost, right? So what a net runner can do in seconds, what it might take minutes for one of you guys to do, because they're just inside the computer destroying the function that does what it you and they do just what you can run around and like upload attack program and just have your viruses eat the inner workings of the door and it unlocks. Whereas a real hacker would have to plug in, get out their iPad or whatever and start typing. So that's the difference, if that makes sense. And they've sort of removed net running in full from this. But again, if we ever played this in full, I would want to bring it in because it's very cool. You sort of get to do 6 turns every time everybody else does one, because you're like inside and you're just like uploading things digitally and like I like it. Anyway, but you do think, while not right now, potential hacking.
Well, is there anyone in
Sure.
that van now?
You want so right now it doesn't look like it's functioning, but you don't know at this distance. You would maybe have to try and get a little bit closer if you want to check it out. Are you trying to do this
I could help with that.
subtly,
How
or
many people are around? Because I suppose what
so
I'm
there's still
wondering.
people sort of leaving, but they're sort of everyone's sort of heading that way. The only people that are moving towards the building are workers, or
I mean, could we look like we were heading to one of the other car parks, or to, as if we parked past it and sort of go that way?
So you can definitely walk past it, but it will be a roll to sort of act surreptitious, if that makes sense. Just because there isn't the reason that van took your eye in the first place is there are no other cars in
Okay.
this area.
I suppose.
Bit
So,
of a distraction.
well, by the way, guys, so I've never played the Cyberpunk game at all, or even seen anything on TV or
So
film or anything.
I'll send you some stuff as well.
Yeah. So what I was going to say, what was in my head was, if this is to do with the security and it's here for tomorrow, is there a way of messing with it so that it's not seeing? And I'm thinking like old school, like, you change the camera so that it looks like there's nobody there, but it's just a still of a picture of that area, or so that we could then get into that south entrance without them seeing us. That's all I'm wondering.
Or is it possible to like us to have access to it so then we can see what they're seeing?
Yeah.
So what I was gonna say is, you would know is because it's the drone. The drones aren't likely to be on it, so hard to mess with. But you could more, like Mover suggested, leave yourself a back door so that tomorrow when the drones are up, you can access it from your agent.
Okay.
And not be
And
so
get
you've
them
got
to not look.
you do all the physical stuff now, which to be clear and open, it can be found if they're a good if the person in the van is a good net runner or hacker, they might check for shit. You sort of have to leave a pen drive that's emitting a signal you can touch to and those sorts of things.
Okay. But yeah, I was thinking, could we mess with something now so that tomorrow it gives us that gap, that in?
You could definitely attempt, and it is an attempt because it's a roll. And I don't know if any of you actually have hack skills, so it'd be straight off your intelligence.
Yeah, I don't have anything called hack. I just have that security.
There's nothing here that I've been able to find that does say hack.
It doesn't say hack in the skills in the PDF, Liam.
Yeah,
No,
I've been trying to look through, say, all the.
I think it removed it. So in which case, what we'll do is.
So I've got the electronic security tech.
Let's do electronic security tech. So it'll be an electronic security tech roll. So firstly, you'll need one to get in the van. Well, first of all, you wanted to get closer and see if there was anybody in the van.
So I'm just gonna say, we could always go for, if we're trying. Do you need to get into the van for this?
Yeah.
Well, we needed to get close to the van first.
Well, they want to get close to
see,
but if there's no one in it, they want to get inside.
Yeah. Well, if there is, one way to get people out is, adoring fan meets like uninterested celebrity. So, Mover, give me some love. I'll spawn you away. We get into it by the van. You can hit me. Throw me into the van. Someone will come out if there is anyone in there.
So you're saying I get to punch you for free?
I say you get to attempt to.
Okay, let's go.
Just make it look good. And I'm just going to pull out another shot from somewhere. Just got to be casually, just constantly drinking.
If I
Oh,
have to
how
fucking
close are we
heal
to the
you
van?
again.
Are we up by the van when you take that shot?
Probably
Yes.
not necessarily. We're just I'll walk. I'm going to go wandering off somewhere in my own direction, and then we're going to cross.
I'm just gonna run my hand over my bald head and go, okay.
Okay, so how's it playing out as you both sort of start to cross paths in front around the vehicle?
I'll just kind of accidentally bump into and be like, holy Chris balls, are you you?
Yeah, it's me, mate. It's me. It's so good.
Like, oh my god, what are you doing here? It's unreal. Oh.
No, you're not one of those fans. I can't be bothered with you. Just go.
Oh, come
Go
on.
bug someone
come
else.
On.
Come on, look, no, come on, mate.
Come on, have a drink with me. You surely got a drink on you.
Of course I've got a drink, but like, fuck right off. Come on, it's mine.
Okay, he pushes me away.
Yeah.
And then as he goes to have a drink, that's when I'm going to smack him in the face.
Can I be circling around, maybe away from this, just and watching the van and watching them, and yeah.
So, a quick rundown of how combat works, just so that you are aware. Every combat you get a move and an action. It is literally action is everything else, right? Anything else, you know, shooting the gun, reloading the gun, doing a backflip. Well, that's my move, I suppose. But opening doors, hacking things, right? It could be anything, but it's just you move once, you do an action. And again, boiled down rules, but we're so the way that brawling works. So from mover's side, you either make a D10 plus Dex plus Brawl if you have Brawl.
I have brawling, yeah.
Or if you had melee weapon, you could alternate. You can obviously, but that means you're using a melee weapon. And Chris, on your side, you roll a D10 plus your Dex plus your evasion.
Plus my Dex plus my evasion.
Okay.
Is that not already added up somewhere for us? Just
1 second. Evasion, it is in there it's just in the skills.
oh right, so yeah, my okay, cool.
So Paul's and do you want to whisper them to me or even so
I'm really annoyed at myself. Rolled the wrong dice. I got a natural 20.
That's not here, bro. That's not here, bro.
And that one was a 2 instead. So, right. Okay, we're gonna. Do you want us to whisper our final scores to you?
So what I was gonna say is, Mover's gonna describe what they're attempting to do. Fishnets is gonna describe what they're attempting to do, and then message me each the roles privately. You can do it either whispered or on Facebook or whatever, and then I'll describe out how it goes. I'll describe out how it goes after that.
I'm not exactly sure what I need to add up, so I'm just going to tell you what I rolled, and then you can explain it to me.
Well, no, you do that, and then you're adding your brawl total, the very end of what the brawl skill says.
Not the damage, because the damage is the brawl successful. Okay.
Yeah.
So, D10 plus brawl, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And what's going to happen here is that he's going to smack me, and obviously I'm going to just chuck the shot. So. And then I'm going to go flying into the van. Might go flying into the window and try to break it, and or just at least smash it or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'm going to. Well, yeah. Then I guess it's the next move.
We'll see. So Mover,
as he goes to take a drink, like it looks like I'm going to punch him, but as I'm punching him, my fist goes past him, and it's just an elbow straight to the face.
Chris,
to give an extra movement and push.
Did you message me, by the way, Chris?
I haven't messaged you, sorry.
Message me your score. So as Mover loads up for this swift elbow, a an interesting response to a rude celebrity. Maybe more celebrities get swiftly elbowed.
I love you so much.
Hey, don't reject me. I'm a super fan. You reject me, I will kill you.
Yes.
Okay, and then so as the elbow swings by, like fishnets, you were ready for it. You were gonna play the part. You throwing back the shot. The speed that elbow comes at you is enough to just make you like just a tiny bit, and it just skims as you just missed by one as that elbow soars past. I'll say that we give me a performance. Is the performance? Is that?
I mean, there's
Just play weapon,
play
instrument.
instrument.
I'll take a persuasion as from Chris as you then throw yourself backwards. I assume as if you got hit.
I'm going to be disappointed that I didn't make contact.
Yeah.
That's a you say persuasion. Oh,
Yes.
19.
Okay, as you stumble back, you don't smash like crack a window, but you do almost like bend the wing mirror completely out of shape, and the van rocks, and you sort of you know.
I'm just gonna
doing this?
I'm just clarifying that I did it right. So I rolled a 6, and then my stat was 6 plus 2 for my level.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just my evasion is actually pretty good. My evasion is 13 without any rolls.
Yeah, he is a dodgy son of a gun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that 2 literally got you 15. Jeez.
Yeah.
When they hit the van, I am watching the van. I'm watching the doors just to see.
And then I'm just gonna be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm just gonna go running and try to grab him to the floor. I guess whatever that is that still brawling?
Well, so a grab. I think it's
or say like, or if he's close, I'm assuming because he's just hit me. I've just got that.
Yeah, so this time the rolls would be reversed. So this time, fishnets, you would be rolling a brawl, so D10 plus your brawl, and Mover, you're rolling a D10 plus your.
I am a little bit of like a bit of a punchy bastard.
This is it, honestly. So the Rocker Boys, they like to fight. They get in brawls and stuff. Yeah. But where the solo takes over is the fact he's very good with a rifle. Like, look at the damage on some of the guns that they use.
I saw it was like 5d6 or something like that, or something.
Yeah.
But
oh my days.
Yeah, that's just what I'm going to attempt to do, which I probably won't. I'm just going to try to grab hold of him and then just roll. Like I almost roll him into the thing and then start trying to look like I'm doing some hits on him.
So
that was a 10 that I rolled.
Okay, so you beat me. You beat me.
Oh, and then there was a natural 1.
So that's fine. It just ends, luckily.
Okay, so that's 23. Then.
Okay, yeah.
15.
Not expecting the speed and aggression from this wily rocker boy. You find yourself thrown against the side of the van. Redtail, you're looking around. You'd see some of the workers sort of glance over, but they're not like it's like idiots.
Take 6 points of damage.
Luckily, grabs aren't damaged.
Oh, I thought I was gonna like move them and start.
No, once somebody is grabbed, you can then start choking them.
Or throw them.
Or throw them, yeah. And that does the reason chokes are good is you do body stat damage, but it bypasses any armor they have. So if you did do damage, it would have come off the armor would have deducted it basically. Whereas
to 0 or something, does that just do anything?
Yeah, they'll pass out basically.
Oh, I could be passed out so quickly.
That's the thing. Like if you get grabbed or get hit, gone. But so Redtail, I never called you Eleni then. If you want to know who Eleni is, you should check out our main campaign.
Well, we know what we're doing.
Yeah, we kind of
yeah. Totally know what I'm doing.
Redtail, the one thing that does give you cause for concern is the drone. Sort of turns, and it doesn't come zooming in, but it just sort of starts moving out from its position over towards the vehicle.
Any
the
movement
other-
from inside the vehicle
No
at all?
movement, no hit, no. You don't hear anything from the guys. Don't hear anything. It's again moving. You're slammed up against the thing, and you're sort of wrestling with each other. You guys haven't noticed the drone. It's sort of too far away and just sort of moving in this direction.
If I
Okay.
know that Fishtail has the phone in his head.
Fishtail? Who the fuck's that?
Sorry, not
Fishnets.
Fishtail. Fishnet. Sorry. Red tail and
I
fishnet.
like it.
Sorry.
It's got to be our
Fishtail.
kid.
Yeah.
It could have been worse.
Red
if,
net.
I, if I know that Fishnets has the phone in his head, does that mean if I ring him using my normal phone, he will hear
Yeah.
it in his head?
Yeah, and he can answer in a sec.
So I'm gonna give him a ring, because I'm a bit away. I'm gonna ring Fishnets and just go. Drone thinks you're really interesting.
Cool. Anybody else stop? I'm assuming
Up to you.
we're allowed to talk.
So you got and you guys are but you do speak.
Yeah.
So even though you didn't hear the call or anything, but you would have almost seen that glaze look in the eye as they start listening to something else, and then they would speak out loud. But you guys are sort of locked in like a clinch, like you're wrestling with each other.
Yeah.
There's no sound from inside the van.
I was just thinking Drone won't hear it because it's in his head.
Oh
so
no,
that's-
Drone won't really hear him muttering either.
In the case of this, I'm just gonna just whisper to Mover, go down, and I'm just gonna kind of push away and just be kind of push against the van and just be like, fucking crazy, and then wants to walk off.
He's gonna try that, but I'm gonna resist because I'm not the one to go down. He needs to go down.
I knew this was coming. Okay, so it's gonna be a brawl from Fishnets. Well, so technically, yeah. I was gonna say technically it's Mover's turn. So yeah, Mover. It would be because he's gonna sort of shove against you in the performance of it. What are you actually doing?
I'm gonna duck and then kind of try and vault him over my shoulders and use my shoulder arm skill to kind of vault him into the van.
Okay. I love this. So, what is the?
This is a one shot. We haven't even got past you haven't look at things.
No, and I love it. And this is where one shot might become a two shot, and we might bring in another person. Hopefully, it is still fun and enjoyable so far. But you've got your shoulder arm still. I like that. What do you do with your shoulder arm? Oh yeah.
Oh, it's pissing down here all of a sudden.
Snap.
What is shoulder arms as a skill?
It's kind of say somewhere above the elbow.
Skill for
below
fire.
the neck.
It's firing projectile weapon.
Okay, no, I read it wrong. I'm just gonna.
I was gonna say. You just load him up and fire.
I'm gonna pick him up and just load him as a weapon. No, I'm gonna.
I would still do that same thing, but with brawl. I was just figuring out what skill you rolled. But yeah, make me a brawl.
I was hoping for the shoulder arm boost.
But maybe and remember, you as much as this is PvP, you can spend luck to add a +1 to your roll.
Come on, 10.
What do we got? Okay, what do we? Did you message me as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
Please say you got that.
No way.
Please.
So I'd say that you go to push and you see him dip it, starting to dip, and you just almost full and in the last second fishnet. You do all good mosh pitters do when they're running into a wall of people, and you just launch your whole body at him. You just full force him, and you're 20 to his 14 as you just thunk against him. And I'm gonna say what obviously what Fishnet planned originally. You sort of end up rolling backwards and falling back against the van, and then he fucking crazies and storms away.
I'm gonna spit on him, and then I'm gonna go because he's pulling that shit.
You're gonna get killed.
If you spit on me, I am pulling out my shotgun.
Done now. We've said it. And then it's just got to walk off. Or not. I'll spit towards him. I rolled a 6. I don't know what I need to add to see if I've hit him with it.
No, I'll say this bit doesn't land on. You would see that as you see the final push and you start to walk away, the drone is still hovering and it would come into sight for you, Mover, especially with your enhanced imaging and zoom in. But you would see sort of it's stopped approaching, but it's still hovering and looking this direction.
I'll wait for him to walk away, and then get up, crack my knuckles, fluff my jacket like the lapels, and then walk in the other direction. Just mutter, "Fucking fishnets."
This is the end of part 1. Part 2 airs Sunday 7 PM GMT, or will be linked in the top right of your screen now. Thank you for watching, and roll well.